Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something kind of huge.
Huge.
Well, maybe not huge, but so important.
Oh, okay. I'm listening.
We're talking about making real change, like how to actually make those positive changes that we all want, you know?
I like where this is going.
So we're diving deep into this YouTube video today from the Mindset Mentor podcast.
Okay.
It's called How to Be Consistent, a Simple Secret to Personal Development.
Interesting.
And get this, it all comes down to this thing called the Law of 100.
The law of 100, huh? Is that like some kind of universal law, like gravity, but for self-improvement or something?
It kind of feels that way. Just imagine, okay, you have this one habit, like the habit, the one that just makes everything else in your life fall into place.
Okay.
The video uses this cool analogy. It's like the keystone in a Roman arch. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah, sure.
It's that one single stone at the top that's holding the whole structure up.
Oh, I see what they're getting at. Like,
Right.
take out that keystone and the whole thing crumbles. So they're saying there's like a keystone habit,
Yes.
the one that supports everything else in your life.
Boom. You got it.
I like it.
And it makes you think, right, what would be your keystone habit? Like, what's that one thing that could really make the biggest difference for you in everything you do?
That's a good question for our listeners to think about.
Right.
What's that one thing for you?
Yeah, and once you figure out what that one crucial habit is, that's where this law of 100 kicks in.
Okay, so tell me, what is this law of 100 all about?
Well, it's so simple you might not believe it.
Okay.
It's all about committing to doing that keystone habit every single day.
Every single day.
No excuses
Whoa.
for 100 days straight.
So no weekends off, no holidays, no... I just don't feel like it. Days, no?
100 days straight.
I can already hear people coming up with excuses like it's someone's birthday or they're on vacation or it's Monday.
Uh-huh. Yeah, right. But that's what's so genius about this 100-day thing.
Oh, how so?
Because, it's really just a short-term commitment,
Mm-hmm.
but it can lead to some serious long-term change in your life. Think about it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's kind of like if you had to hack a new path through a super dense forest,
Mm.
right?
Oh, I like that analogy.
Those well-worn paths are easy to follow because so many people have walked them before, but when you got to make a new path,
Yeah.
it takes effort. You're hacking through all this undergrowth just to make a way through.
Right, it's not easy.
Exactly. And that's like those first 100 days.
You're carving out a new path for that habit to take hold.
You got it. You're literally changing your brain.
Wow.
It takes that repeated action for the pathway to become like a smooth, easy path for the new habit to just become a part of you.
That makes a lot of sense.
And speaking of consistency, did you know that a lot of successful people,
Yeah.
they aren't always like the smartest or the most talented?
Really?
It's more about them showing up and doing the work every single day.
So consistency is key.
That's where the magic happens. That's what the
Yeah.
video is saying.
Interesting.
Like that compounding effect.
Yeah.
Like
What do you mean?
every day you might just be taking a small step.
Okay.
But if you keep doing it over time, those small steps, they turn into something big and amazing.
So, like, even if you don't see results right away, you just got to trust the process.
Exactly. And this reminds me of how Jerry Seinfeld writes jokes. Did you know about this?
Tell me more. I'm always curious about how creative people work.
Well, apparently he marks a big red X on a calendar every single day that he writes jokes.
Really?
Doesn't matter if they're good or bad. He just marks that X.
Wow.
It's like a visual reminder to keep going,
That's a cool trick.
to keep that streak alive,
And the longer that chain of X's gets, the harder it would be to break it, I bet.
Exactly.
That's a good idea.
And this actually connects to another thing the video talks about.
Oh, what's that?
Failure.
Failure?
They don't see it as like messing up or having setbacks along the way.
Oh.
For them, failure is actually giving up.
So as long as you don't quit, you haven't failed.
Exactly. And I think that's such a powerful way to look at things.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off.
Right.
You're not aiming for perfection, just consistency.
Totally. It's all about the process of building that habit, not being perfect every time.
Makes sense.
Now, you want to know something crazy that they suggest in the video?
Yeah, what is it?
They say you should disappear for 100 days.
Disappear. Like vanish.
No, not literally. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
It's more about minimizing distractions, like
Yeah.
turning off social media.
Oh, okay.
Maybe saying no to some commitments,
So you can focus.
Exactly. It's about creating space to really focus on building that keystone habit.
I see. So you're not actually disappearing. You're just giving yourself space to grow.
You got it.
Yeah.
And this all makes sense when you think about how our brains work.
Yeah.
All that science-y stuff about neuroplasticity.
Oh, yeah. Remind me what that is again.
So it basically means that our brains are constantly changing, adapting, and making new connections.
Okay.
So by really focusing on a specific habit for 100 days, you're actually like rewiring your brain to make that habit stick. You're making it a part of who you are.
That's amazing.
And it's like that story of the Chinese bamboo tree.
Oh, what's that one?
So for the first 6 years, you water this tree, you nurture it, you give it everything it needs.
Yeah.
But guess what it looks like? Nothing's happening above ground.
Really?
Nothing.
So what happened?
Then in year 6, bam.
Whoa.
It shoots up like 80 feet in just 6 weeks.
Whoa. So it was growing underground all that time.
Exactly. It's this amazing reminder that sometimes the biggest growth is happening where we can't see it.
That's incredible.
Wow.
It's like all that groundwork was being laid, even though it didn't look like anything was changing.
It's so cool. And imagine how different your life could be just a few months from now if you committed to this process.
Yeah, just a few months.
It makes you think, doesn't it? Just a quick reminder, if you're ready to start manifesting your dream life, we've included links in the description to some amazing resources. Take a look after the episode.
So much potential.
It's all about tapping into that potential through consistent action.
Because you know consistency is a skill.
It is. It's something we can practice and get better at.
And this law of 100, it's like the perfect workout plan to build that consistency muscle.
You got it. It's simple.
Yeah.
Choose your keystone habit, commit to 100 days, and then let the magic happen.
I like it. I think there's a saying about this, like, motivation gets you started, but habit is what keeps you going.
Yes, exact.
And, let's face it, motivation, it can be kind of like flaky.
It really is.
Like sometimes it's there and sometimes...
Gone.
Exactly. It's like a sugar rush. You get this burst of energy, but then it just disappears.
It's so true.
But habits are different.
They're like the engine that keeps us going.
Even when the motivation runs out.
And this law of 100, this is how we build that engine.
Exactly.
We create a system.
It's not about willpower anymore. It's about putting that system in place.
It's about making it automatic. Almost. Like
you don't even have to think about it.
Right. It becomes part of who you are, how you do things.
It's like instead of forcing yourself to do something, you actually start to want to do it.
Yes. And the video, they talk about how much this 100-day commitment can really change you.
It's not just about the one habit.
It's bigger than that, right?
It's about building this mindset of consistency.
In everything you do.
That's powerful stuff.
It is. And you know what else is cool?
What?
Once you actually do something for 100 days straight, it's like you prove to yourself that you can do it.
Yeah.
And that does something to your confidence.
Makes you believe in yourself more.
Exactly.
Like, wow, if I can stick with that for 100 days, what else can I do?
It's so true. It opens up so many possibilities.
It's pretty awesome.
Especially these days. There's so much out there trying to distract us.
Oh my gosh. Yes, so many distractions.
Instant gratification everywhere you look.
It's hard to stay focused.
I know. But this law of 100, it's like a reminder.
A reminder of what?
That we have the power.
The power
to change our habits, to change our lives.
More than we realize sometimes.
By more.
So what do you think? Are you ready to take that step?
Are you ready to commit to those 100 days?
Just imagine where you could be a year from now.
The person you could become.
The things you could accomplish.
The life you could create.
That's all possible.
It really is. And just a quick reminder, if you're looking for a little extra support on your journey, we've got some amazing resources linked in the description. Just a quick reminder, if you're ready to start manifesting your dream life, we've included links in the description to some amazing resources. Take a look after the episode.
Definitely check those out.
Okay, so we've talked about the why. Now let's get practical.
Okay, ready.
Let's say you figured out your keystone habit.
Got it. Step 1 done.
Now, how do you actually make sure you stick with it for those 100 days?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Any advice from our expert?
Well, the video doesn't give specific tactics, but I think understanding how our brains work can help.
Right. Remember we talked about neuroplasticity before?
Yeah, the rewiring the brain thing.
Yes. And there are actually ways to use that to our advantage.
Oh, this is getting interesting.
So one of the key things is repetition.
Okay.
The more we do something, the stronger those connections in our brain get.
It's like practice makes perfect.
Except imagine walking through a field of tall grass. The first time, it's going to be tough, right?
Yeah, you're fighting your way through.
But the more you walk that same path, the grass gets trampled down, it becomes easier.
I see.
And that's what happens in our brains too.
So the more we repeat the habit, the easier it gets.
Exactly. But here's the thing, those first few weeks, they're crucial. You got to be really intentional about it.
Like schedule it and make it a priority.
Yes. And even if it feels forced at first,
Just keep showing up.
that's the key. And
And
eventually,
to come more natural.
you won't need as much willpower anymore.
Because that pathway in your brain is getting stronger.
Exactly.
So repetition is key. It is, but there's something else that's super important.
Okay, what's that?
Reward.
Reward, like giving yourself a treat.
Yeah, because our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain, right?
That's true, yeah.
So if we want to make a habit stick, we got to make it feel good.
So we actually enjoy doing it.
Yeah. It could be anything, like a small treat, listening to your favorite music, that feeling of accomplishment.
I love checking things off my to-do list.
Me too. Feels so good.
It's like you're training your brain to crave that reward.
Exactly. And then you're more likely to do the habit again.
So smart.
And the opposite is true too. If you associate a habit with negative feelings like stress or frustration.
Oh, yeah. You want to avoid it.
Right. So pay attention to your self-talk.
Like, be kind to yourself.
Yes. Focus on the positive.
Even if you mess up sometimes.
Celebrate your progress no matter how small.
I love that.
Okay, now are you ready for another powerful technique?
Bring it on.
Visualization.
I've heard about that, but
It's really cool.
how does it actually work?
So our brains have a hard time telling the difference between something we vividly imagine and
Right.
something that's actually happening.
Really?
It's true. So when we repeatedly visualize ourselves doing our keystone habits successfully, we're actually making those neural pathways stronger.
So we're more likely to actually do it in real life.
Exactly. It's like mental rehearsal for your habit.
I like that.
You're priming your brain for success, making it feel familiar.
And the more senses you use in your visualization,
Yeah, like sight, sound, feeling.
the more powerful it is.
Exactly.
So let's say your keystone habit is going for a run every morning.
Okay.
You could visualize yourself putting on your running shoes, feeling the fresh air, feeling your feet hitting the pavement.
Exactly. And when you actually go for that run the next morning,
Yeah.
it'll feel easier because your brain has already experienced it, even if it was just in your imagination.
It's like planting those seeds of success.
And over time, those seeds, they'll sprout and grow. They'll change your thoughts, your actions, your life.
This has been awesome.
I know, right? We've gone so deep.
Beyond just like summarizing the video,
Yeah, we're really getting into how habits work.
why they matter, the whole science of it.
And it all comes back to that law of 100, you know?
It's simple but powerful.
It really is, like, it's backed by science.
And by how our brains actually work.
So for anyone listening who's, like, ready to jump in.
Just pick their keystone habit in those 100 days.
Yeah, what's the one thing you tell them?
What's the best advice?
Be patient
Patient.
with
Wow.
yourself.
Yeah.
Change takes time, you know?
It doesn't happen overnight
There are going to be days when you don't feel like it.
when you just want to quit.
Yeah, but remember why you started this whole thing.
That's so important.
Remember that vision you have.
Of the person you want to be, the life you want.
And trust the process, even when it's tough.
Because even on those hard days,
We're still making progress.
it's like those neural pathways are still getting stronger.
Even if you can't see it.
It's like that Chinese bamboo all those years where it looks like nothing's happening.
But it's growing underground.
Getting ready to shoot up.
And when it does, it's amazing.
So inspiring.
This whole conversation has been so inspiring.
I agree.
I hope everyone listening feels like they can do this.
Yeah, like they can make real change.
And don't forget those resources we mentioned.
Oh yeah, check those out.
They're linked in the description. Just a quick reminder, if you're ready to start manifesting your dream life, we've included links in the description to some amazing resources. Take a look after the episode.
Lots of good stuff in there.
All right, that's it for today's deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.
And keep those habits going strong.
See you on the next deep dive.
Bye, everyone.